Alright, so we got another loot gaming review. The theme this month was Stranded, and it's going to feature stuff from Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and finally Dead Island. Now, I'll be honest right off the bat, when I saw the stuff that this crate was going to feature, I really don't have too I wasn't really too excited for this one. I know, just like any other, well, just like the whole Loot Crate series in general, it's definitely a hit or miss. Like there are some crates I've gotten, that I liked every single stuff in it. There's a few boxes where I've only liked, maybe one or two things in it, and then there's some that I've just actually not liked at all. So unfortunately, I feel like this one might be leaning towards the next one. But overall, even though I've had a few in the past that I've never really, thought highly of. For the most part, I do enjoy a lot of the stuff that comes in these crates. The reason I wasn't really excited for this one is that just the franchises that were named, they don't really strike a high note with me. Tomb Raider's probably the only one. I remember playing a lot of the old Tomb Raider games on PlayStation growing up, and then I really liked the reboot, the first reboot. I haven't gotten a chance to play the newer game that had come out not too long ago, but I did enjoy playing those games. Assassin's Creed, I thought the first game was amazing. Played it at a friend's house and bought it for myself when it first came out, and I played the second one, but I never beat it. And then they just have like so many. There's just like so many of those games out now. And granted, I haven't played them, so they could still be really good. It just seems like every time I look at them, it's just like the kind of like the same old thing. Dead Island, played the first one. My friend and I had beaten the first game on Xbox. Never really played Riptide. I played that little like spin-off game that came out on Steam a few years ago for about 20 minutes. It was when it was first announced, I was pretty hyped up for it, but after playing it, it was just kind of pretty repetitive. And then Far Cry, I was never too big in the Far Cry games. I played Far Cry 3, and I had a blast playing that game, but that was pretty much it. I don't really find the new Primal game coming out appealing. It's just not my type of games. So I'm not trying to sit here and like diss all the franchises, but they're just, like I said, they just weren't ones that really struck a note with me. But anyway, that's enough of that. We'll crack this crate open and see what kind of stuff's in it. As for the size of the crate, it seems to be the typical size. It seems like the Loot Gaming ones usually have about kind of like the same. There's not like too many varying sizes of the crates that from what I've seen. Everything seems to be packed pretty well in it. It didn't seem like a lot of stuff was moving inside, so either I'm figuring there's not a lot of like small stuff in there, or they just have it packed in together pretty tight. Opening up, it looks like there really isn't too much small stuff in there. It looks like there's two bigger, I don't know if they're articles of clothing, so we'll grab this first item out of here. And it looks to be a Lara Croft little figurine. I think that's probably that's the one thing I would say about the loot crates. And I mean, it's probably just because I have so many of them, but they definitely sure love their little figurines. Like I said, granted, I do appreciate a lot of them. I still have a lot, and they do make very good like display items. It's just one of those things, though. I feel like if maybe they were if maybe they were all like the Funko Pop figurines, I wouldn't mind so much to have a collection of those anyway. But I just feel like it's just a majority of the stuff you get is always that tiny little figurine. And I think a lot of it is due to the fact that I like a lot of the stuff that they give that I actually would use on like a daily basis. Like I said, I do appreciate having the little display figurines because, they definitely look good on like your shelves and everything. But I think it's just more that I get more display stuff than I actually do stuff that I would use. And I mean, I know that's like the nature of the crate, but I just personally myself, I would like to have more stuff that I would actually, that's like productive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But the figurine isn't too bad. It's definitely pretty well detailed. Like a lot of the other collectible figurines that come in these crates, it definitely goes for the more cartoony kind of like look. I wish there would be more like realistic versions, and I think a lot of them do come in like the DX Loot Crate, like the bigger version of them. But I would like for maybe like once in a while to kind of get like a more realistic character statue, or like the one that came with the Tomb Raider exclusive edition when it came out. Luckily, it's not too bulky, so I should be able to find room for her on my shelf along with the other mask collection I seem to get. Doesn't seem like you can bend her arms at all. She's also missing a nose, and I wish her boobs were more triangle. What the fuck am I even? The next thing we got, I figured I'd pick because it's literally taken up the whole crate. At first I thought it was an article of clothing. I thought, you know, I scored 2 pieces of article, but it's actually a towel. That's actually the name of the resort from Dead Island, and this is actually funny enough, talking about stuff that's productive. I could actually use this. My girlfriend and I went swimming back in the beginning of summer one time, and we had to grab towels, and she of course had like a huge beach towel that she was able to use, and I had to use just like a normal little like shower towel. And I was complaining that I didn't have like a big towel. We went to Florida on vacation last year, and same thing happened. She had a huge beach towel, and we're all laying out in the sun, and I had to lay down on like this tiny little this little Kleenex of a towel. Anyway, point is that I'll use this. It has the Dead Island title on the top of it, and it's got kind of like a bloody handprint and a bloody blood splatter decal on it. I was hoping there was this bath mat I had seen a couple years ago on Amazon, and I think there's like a confusion in the description, but it said that, or I don't know if it said, but it kind of like implied that it was all white, and when you'd step on it, it would actually like show up bloody, like it would show like your bloody footprints and everything. And then a while later, it came up and it said that it didn't actually change colors. So I was kind of hoping this towel would do that. I'm whiny. Like a lot of this stuff I just whine about. But granted, it's a very cool towel, and it's probably something I actually will use. So far, this is the most productive item I've gotten. I say that, and I realize that that's literally just the second thing I've opened up. This third item threw me off. I was just like, okay, that's fucking rad. Thanks for the white box, I guess. But it turns out it's actually a pretty cool item, another productive item. What it would have been, but it's an Assassin's Creed Black Flag flask. I say that it would have been a productive item. Because I would say probably like a year or so ago, I probably would have used this all the time. I don't really drink as much as I used to anymore. Funny enough, I actually have a Jägermeister flask that I bought from buying one of those like Jägermeister box sets where it came with, I think it was like a medium-sized bottle and came with a flask. There was one that came with a shot. I don't know why I'm talking. But the point is that it's actually a pretty good quality flask. I think it's like a 6 or 8 ounce one, or about the typical size. I do kind of like the leather wrap around it. Had I gotten this a few years ago, I probably would have used this flask like constantly. I did use my Jägermeister one quite a bit. I mean, I'll probably use it maybe once in a while if I'm trying to sneak alcohol into somewhere. But for the most part, I'll probably just keep it with the rest of my kind of display items. But I definitely do like this. It's probably on par with the towel. I just won't use it as much as I probably would have in the past. Well, we're coming up on the last few items, so I figured I'd take a look at the shirt that always comes with it. And it's a Far Cry Primal shirt. It's actually a pretty cool shirt. I do like the design on it. Like I said before, I'm not like a too diehard Far Cry fan, and I'm not really looking forward to the new Primal game. So this shirt really doesn't, like I said, it's not a bad shirt. It's just probably not one of my favorites. I'll probably just use it as like a gym shirt or just kind of like a lounge shirt, but probably not one I'd wear like all the time. The one thing I can appreciate about the Loot Crate shirts, besides them being pretty comfy, is that the tags are like tearaway tags. I hate when I have like that feeling of like the tag always rubbing against my neck. So I'm glad that you can always remove them pretty easily. So you don't have to worry about that kind of issue. Life's hard. So then we've got the pin for Stranded. It doesn't seem like, unless I'm missing it, but it doesn't seem like any of the Loot Gaming pins come with anything extra. Usually the regular Loot Crate pins, if you redeem them on the Loot Crate website, it'll actually kind of give you like bonus stuff like skins for a game or like downloadable content or anything like that. And I figured they'd do something like that for the Loot Gaming pins, but it seems like some kind of like a missed opportunity. Maybe they'll do them in the future, but as of right now, there doesn't seem to be anything for them. But it's just a standard pin. The special edition pins are usually a little bit cooler. Usually the gaming ones and then the regular Loot Crate ones are just kind of like a standard round pin like this with the theme on it and then like a design that matches the theme. So nothing too impressive. I'll just add it to my collection of just ever-growing Loot Crate pins and such. I have them stored right now in like a ribbon, like they're all just pinned like a super long ribbon just hanging in my apartment. I need to find something like better to display them in. I've seen people put them in like cases or like little boxes. That's a lot of work. And then of course we've got the little booklet that always comes with it. It was actually a pretty good read. Had a bunch of stuff in there. Of course, like always, it'll show all the items in the crate. Usually it'll show like what it's made of or kind of some facts about it. And then I actually read, usually I don't spend too much time reading, but for some reason I actually read the articles in this booklet this time, and there were some about like what happens when a pirate gets marooned and brain infection you get after eating like relatives and cannibalism and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and also had a interview with Phil Lamar, so that was a pretty funny read. The epic drop this month for Loot Gaming didn't seem too. Usually have some like super crazy ones. Already have a pretty good gaming keyboard and mouse. That's probably why I'm not too excited about it. Oh, this binary code on the back I tried to figure out. Translating it, it's jumbled letters and it's broken up into what looks like two words because there's a space in between them. I think one of them is 7 characters and the next one's 10 characters. I tried to figure out to see if it was like kind of like a different, like a shifted alphabet, or if it like I tried converting it into numbers. I don't know if it's like a redemption code or something of where you have to unscramble both words, but I was unable to figure it out, so that's probably something I'll have to look up to kind of see what it is. The box, I'm not surprised. Putting it together, it looks like it's just like a tomb. I don't really know which way it goes. It could go either way, I feel like. Usually I don't put these boxes, or I don't keep them. I mean, I'll put them together, kind of see what they're like, but I won't really ever keep them. Just because, honestly, I just don't have a place to put this shit. I do see people, a lot of like other loot critters, will like actually put them together and display a lot of their figurines. It's a good idea. I honestly think a lot of them are a good idea, and I like how a lot of them do look when you kind of have them all assembled. But in all honesty, most of the time, unless it's something like that I'd actually really want to display, most of the time I'll just realistically just throw them away. So, but that was all of it. That was everything that came in this month's Loot Gaming Crate. And I'll be honest, I really wasn't too, I don't want to say I wasn't too impressed, but I wasn't really excited. I wasn't excited for the crate to begin with, and then now that I have it, I wasn't really too impressed with it. It definitely wasn't one of the worst crates I've ever gotten, but it by far wasn't one of my favorites. The flask and the towel were probably the most useful things I'll use. Definitely this summer I'll probably use the towel a lot. Like I said, I'll add, Miss Croft to my collection of figurines and all that. But that's basically it. The booklet was pretty nice. I do want to find out that binary code. I might put an update in the description once I find out what it is. Someone probably a lot smarter than me has already figured it out, so I'll keep an eye on that. But that was it for this month. I don't really have any other special edition crates coming out. So my next crate, unless the regular crate is something pretty interesting, my next crate review probably won't be until the next Loot Gaming Crate. So hope this video again was informative as always. I like just to kind of show people what comes in these crates, usually kind of show the good and bad things about them. But keep an eye out for the next crate review, and I will see you then.